Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman, and today I'm going to be doing another podcast. I know y'all are probably missing the celebrity psychic readings, which I will get back to, but I'm feeling motivated by spirit to do these podcasts. So I'm doing one called today called Uncrossing Harmful Magic and podcast. And you're probably wondering by the title Uncrossing Harmful Magic, what am I referring to? Uncrossing. Well, I like to use the word uncrossing because in the world of hoodoo, not voodoo, not to be confused, this is a totally different thing. Uncrossing is basically undoing hexes, curses, magic that is harmful in nature and that has been sent against you or been done towards you. The difference between witchcraft is that and hoodoo is that hoodoo follows a set beliefs. It can be like different customs, different practices, like from different groups of magic, like Santeria, witchcraft. It can have some Catholicism involved in it, you know, using some tools of that nature. Whereas you have like voodoo, and voodoo is more of a religion, and it's been taught. They're both origins, you know, do come is believed to be coming from Africa, and then you have witchcraft, and that's more of a Wiccan or a pagan path, and it's a lot different. But really, magic in its essence is universal language, and it is something very real. I do consider myself pretty well versed in witchcraft and the white magic, like candles and herbals, and a lot of you that are listening to my channel probably are kind of in shock, and I hope you don't get scared. I don't do anything to hurt anyone, but I do. I've spent years as a little child going and checking out books of the occult, of you know, witchcraft, and trying to learn, you know, basically how to protect oneself. Knowledge is power, and there's nothing wrong in knowing how to protect yourself, because the world that we live in is full of, you know, of people that will use magic against you in many ways. Not all witches are bad. That's, so I have to say that, you know, not all witches are bad. And a lot of people will debate whether there is anything really as such as you know, bad magic, and the answer is yes, it does exist. So today I'm going to be talking about different topics in this podcast, and what I'm going to be covering is how to know if you've been hexed or cursed, and then what kind of tools can you use to protect yourself if you do believe that. So pay attention, you know, get your popcorn, get your, you know, your glass of rosé, or if you don't drink, you know, your glass of OJ. Or your, you know, some tea. Just get some tea and sit back and relax, and get your crackers, your, you know, your snacks, your pretzels, whatever you like to snack on, and just sit back and kind of listen to this podcast. I'm gonna make it you know, lighter, not, you know, as heavier as the other topic podcast of heaven and hell that I did the other day. So you know, when it comes to magic, if how to know if you're cursed, this is a big question, because there's a lot of psychics and mediums out there, and spiritualists that, you know, kind of are in different levels. There's a lot of people that are spiritualists that say that they don't believe in curses, yet they're psychics and mediums, and they don't believe that it exists. But like I said, just like angels and demons exist, there is good magic and there's bad magic, and it does exist, and it's very, very real. And it's like I said, even though you can't see spirit all the time, although you can't see people doing magic, you know, witches doing magic or hoodoo practitioners doing magic, it's very real, and it does exist in the world. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it's not real. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that again. Just because you see something doesn't mean that it's not real. Okay, but when it comes down to it, you know, my belief is that it's only as effective as your faith is. So if you have a strong faith in God, or you have a strong faith in your archangels, and Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael, you know, all the archangels, you know, it's going to have some kind of effect on you, but it may not be the same magnitude. You know, why do people use hexes or curses against people? And the question is, why do people use magic and curses and hexes against people, and also why do certain people do it without even knowing? The first thing is you have to know is that the word spelling has the word spell in it. Words that we speak are like spells. So that's why people say, when you are, cursing someone, you're wishing them harm. It's almost like a spell, people. And we use magic every single day, and you wouldn't even realize that the words that you speak and then come out of your mouth have some kind of origin to a spell, to magic, witchcraft, or hoodoo. Now, when you are, like I said, angry or upset, or you're cursing someone, just, when I say cursing, I mean like you're, talking bad about them, using profanity and going at them. You're sending energy. That's the same thing that witchcraft, that witches use in witchcraft and hoodoo. It's all about the energy. What is the practitioner feeling behind that spell that they're doing, or that root work that they're doing, their conjuring that they're doing? How are they feeling? You have to ask yourself. And when people go into this and they do this kind of work, they have to cleanse their energy. If you're doing like hoodoo work or you're doing witchcraft, you have to cleanse your energy, because a lot of times if you're trying to do a spell on love or abundance or prosperity, but you're feeling angry on the inside, or you've had people that have come to you and that have treated you really, really bad, and you're just feeling kind of angry at them or upset, you're not going to be in the optimal state of mind to do any kind of spells, root work, or hoodoo, or anything like that. So you have to be coming from a place of love, cleansing your energy. I'm also going to talk about different tools that you can use to protect yourself in case you do suspect that you have been cursed or hexed, or something bad has happened to you on the magical front. And like I said, believe it or not, I get this question asked a lot in psychic readings, that they've come from other people, or they've been told by other psychics that they're hexed or cursed. And how do I know? They want to know if I know. And I guess for you listening, how would a psychic know if you've been hexed or cursed? So I'm going to cover a lot of these things, hopefully, in this podcast today. So typically, the symptoms of someone that has been hexed or cursed are going to be different for every single person. It's not going to always be the same. If you've been hexed or cursed, in most cases, things in your life are going to change radically and drastically in a short period of time. Things are going to go bad. Anything from your vehicle breaking to a bird, a blackbird, blackbirds appearing in your yard or circling you everywhere you go, like ravens or magpies, or whatever you call these birds, crows, ravens, grackles, those kind of birds, they're going to appear. You could have a lot of your pet gets mysteriously ill and dies on you. You have jewelry on you and it breaks all of a sudden. Things in your house start breaking. Bills start going up. Expenses, unexpected expenses, like I said, things breaking continue to happen. You have infestation, similar to like a demonic possession, because ultimately sometimes when it's a darker work being done, they're utilizing or invoking the assistance of spirits to cause that work. And if it's more of a dark energy, dark craft that's being used against you, they are using demons basically without even them knowing or thinking that they've unleashed that, and they've unleashed demons towards that intended victim, and that's what's causing this infestations in your household. So you could see apparitions. If you've been hexed or cursed, you could see apparitions. Your eyesight can change. You can be blinded, or partially blind, or like just feel like your vision changes quite often. You will feel a presence always around you. Things at your job get really ugly. Your boss is maybe you were the top employee and you've always gotten along, and then there's just a fight all of a sudden, or your boss is treating you horribly, or when you go in, you're having a miserable day with clients interacting. It's like a series of events that happens, like I said, fairly rapidly, and things start happening in like a consecutively. It's not something that just happens in once, like in a month, and then that's it. No, it's like progressively every day something else happens. Mirrors could break on you. Your nightmares, your sleeping patterns, you could be finding that you can't sleep. You're always having anxiety or panic attacks, and you really didn't have anxiety or panic attacks before. Your dreams are nightmares, and you dream about darker things, whereas you're not a person that's a dreamer, or you've never had bad dreams before. You suddenly you were with your lover and they've loved you, maybe your fiance, you're engaged, and then all of a sudden your fiance leaves you and goes back to their ex out of all of a sudden, out of the blue. And y'all were doing so well together. These are the kind of things that progressively can happen when a person has been hexed or cursed. I know if you're listening to this, a lot of you out there may be saying, well, that's, some of that could happen to anyone. But like I said, it's not just going to be one thing, but a series of things that happen. And many times, if you have psychic abilities or clairvoyant abilities, or you have a good communication with your spirit guides, it will be revealed who is doing the work to you. If you go through meditation, and sometimes if you consult your spirit guides and ask God, to show you, to get a revelation, you usually will find out who is doing that against you, who's doing that work against you. Like I said, there's a lot of, your hair could start falling out, your nails could be breaking, whereas you never had hair falling out. You could develop sores all over your body. And it's not common for you to break out or have sores or have some mysterious bruising on your body, scratch marks. Like I said, this is kind of like very, very weird when you listen to this, but a lot of you may be, creating a checklist. And if you checked out, more than 5 of these things, it's very possible that it's happened to you. Let me see, what else can I tell you, what you would know. Like I said, your vehicle could act up. There could be a malfunction of your cell phone. There could be even legal issues that occur, and whereas you didn't, like a speeding ticket, or you get into an altercation with someone because you lost your control of your temper, and it's not like you to do that all of a sudden. There could be animals. A lot of people that use dark magic may throw dead animals in your yard. Dead toads, when it's a darker magic, like dead, frogs or toads, lizards, even baby snakes. It's not uncommon to have that. There could be other dead animals, or weird bones thrown in your yard. When it comes to more like to hoodoo, it is a lot of times some bones, animal bones, are used, and it's like similar to, when. Well, I'm not going to get into that, but it's kind of complex. But there's bones that can be involved, thrown in your property, etc., depending on what they're doing. So that's how you will know more or less that something is going on, that you've been hexed or cursed. Like I said, it's a series of events that happens that it's kind of everything going bad, everything is crumbling down, and it doesn't get better. It just doesn't get better. And in your heart of hearts that this is not normal, and this is not, something that is divinely orchestrated. And I guess the question here at this point, even for myself, listening to this, is that a lot of people will be asking, well, why would the universe allow that? Why does the universe allow magic? Magic is ancient. This is coming from the time of the Sumerians, of the Anunnaki, the time of Egypt. Magic has ancient origins, and it's been used since the beginning of time by different cultures. So magic is not something that is new. It's something that is definitely old and that has always existed for eons. It's always been here on Earth. But people over generations have taken it to a darker place. They've taken it to use it against people, to kind of hurt people in certain ways. Now, like I said, not all witches, not all hoodoo practitioners are doing magic or using rituals or doing things to hex people. There are good people out there that use magic, good witches that use light and dark magic in some cases, but it's not to hurt anyone. They're more solitary, like a solitary witch. So a lot of you that are listening to these verbiage or this verbiage or terminology that I'm using may be like I'm talking a different language, but kind of look up some of these things when you have some time, and it will make a little bit more sense to you. Now, there's several things that you need to do or be aware of if you feel like witchcraft is being done to you, or there has been some hoodoo work done against you. And there's different things, but I'm going to cover some of the things here that would be beneficial to you. The first thing that you could do is that there's this company on Amazon that I really, really love. I don't know who the owners are, but it's called The Art of the Root. It's called The Art of the Root, and they have different oils that you can use, like for love, love work, like attraction oils or come to me oils, but they also have an uncrossing spray, and it's an herbal, and I actually bought that uncrossing spray because the line of work that I do, I'm very prone to other spiritual attacks from other root workers, other people that are psychics and mediums that send psychic attacks. And I actually have had a lady that I refused to read for because I had seen that she, when I looked at her profile picture, and this was like maybe about 6 or 7 months ago, it was sometime in 2018, and it was a white lady, and I'm just referring to her as a white lady, not because of a race or anything, but she came to me and she wanted me to read for her, and I was like, no, because I do have that disclaimer that I have the right to refuse services to anyone for whatever reason. And usually the reason is that there's either something really dark attached to them, which I don't handle, like demonic cases, or there's someone that has some bad intentions coming towards me to basically inflict some kind of, bad energy on me. A lot of energy vampires that are psychic readers or witches, they usually come to me for some particular reason, and I'll be able to know because my spirit guides kind of scan clients for me. And what I mean by that is that if I cannot read for you, there's a reason. There's going to be like a block put up. So when I'm reading, there's some people out there that are spiritualists that are psychics and mediums, and they can read anyone. And they say they can read every single person, but I kind of find that hard to believe because your spirit guides, if you have good spirit guides, are going to protect you against anyone that is negative. And what I saw in that person, she looked like an ordinary person, you wouldn't be able to tell, but I saw darkness in her eyes. I saw darkness in the soul, and Spirit said, do not read her. And it was like a block. So I emailed her and I refunded her money, which I don't give refunds on readings unless I cannot do the reading. Then I refund to the client. And I gave her the refund, and I sent her an email to be professional and cordial. And I said, there's something wrong here that I can't read for you. And then she blew it out of proportion, and she wasn't happy. She says, well, that's not right. Like, you're judging me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, that's not the case. So maybe about a month later, I had forgotten to take her off of my distribution list that I have to send mass emails to my clients for marketing reasons, or newsletters that I send out, or notices sales, things like that, any kind of communication. And this lady, she snapped back quickly. She says, take me off of your list of emails. I don't want to receive your emails anymore. And I was like, fine, that's fine. I apologize in advance that I didn't take you off. That was a slight oversight on my part. And then it was maybe about a few weeks later, she emails me, and she says, by the way, I live in Nolens, in New Orleans, and she says, and I put a hex on you. I cursed you. So it was like, that is what I mean. Like, and I was like, when she said that and she revealed it, I was like, wow. So that was why my spirit guides did not want me to read for her. And like I said, this is very, very real, people. It is very, very real. There are people out there that have bad intentions and that go to other psychic readers or healers or people because they want to fix their bad karma. And we are not the ones to fix it for them. They have to fix it themselves. So you have to be very careful and kind of trust your intuition when you're a psychic, a medium, a healer, you do a Reiki, you do any kind of spiritual work. You have to be careful and knowing and trusting your intuition and your vibes that you're getting from everyone. Uh, but yes, that's exactly what happened to me. So I had to. That's why what it prompted me to get that uncrossing spray. Did I believe her curse had any effect on me? No, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and just let, take chances and not protect myself. And the thing is that people that are doing magic or that do any kind of hoodoo, rude work or conjuring, they all have to realize is that to a certain point there is the laws of the universe of karma. And whatever you do to someone, you will be held accountable and it will come back to you. And like I said, it usually comes back very, very strong, and there's adverse repercussions to someone that is doing something harmful to you. It's people that hex other people or that curse other people usually will find themselves having the same fate of misfortune, but on a maybe a bigger scale for an extended period of time, because there's always a price to pay when you are utilizing, especially if you're conjuring spirits that are being conjured to do like work for the living. You have to understand spirits don't work for the living in the respect that you want them to do something for personal gain for you, like doing a spell to hurt someone else. And if you're using that kind of energy and you're using darker spirits or darker entities, those entities are going to eventually come back and they're going to want payment in full. And however they get that back, it could result in death in many cases. Like I said, it's a very, very dangerous thing because there's people that go into something entirely different called necromancy, which is trying to like resurrect the dead, or kind of do rituals, and it's something that's very, very dark, and it's entirely different to this podcast, but I just had to mention it on here. But people that do black magic or that do darker hoodoo work, conjuring or root work, there are consequences. I don't care how strong you are or how protected you think you are, there's always going to be a consequence to it. So if you have been hexed or you've been cursed in many ways, you want to uncross this. So like I said, go to that website. Well, you can go to their website. I believe they have a website. It may be theartoftheroot.com. Yeah, it's www.artoftheroot.com. And they have a lot of good oils, candles that you can use for abundance. And they also have an uncrossing spray. And it's a mixture of an herb infused oil with essential oils, and basically you spray it all around. You can spray that on every doorway. I know I did, on every doorway, every window pane, and on myself from top to bottom. And basically what it does, it kind of smells kind of like very much like a mint smell with lemon, and it basically helps. There is sorry, I was going to say dragon fruit. It's called dragon's blood, and basically you can utilize, it's a reddish tinge of oil. They have it on that website as well, and you can use that and basically like make this, get a little bit in your thumb and rub that on your door or on the very top if you have paneling or wood, somewhere. Just dab a little bit. You can also put it on the, your door's passageway. Or in the windowsills, a little drop, or just on your thumb, kind of press it and then touch it. And basically what dragon's blood does is it protects, gives a very high protection against negativity entering, your home. If you believe that you've been hexed or cursed, the first thing that you're going to need to do is to protect yourself and cleanse your aura and your energy. One of the ways that you can do this is if you don't live in a place that has a bathtub, where you can soak in. If you do have a place that has a bathtub, you want to get some sea salt, a green candle, a 7-day green candle, and some sea salt, and an Archangel Michael or the Saint Michael candle, a red one. You want to light those two in a white one. The white candle is for purity. The green candle is for healing. And then the red candle is for love. But it also is for protection, like I said, because it has the Saint Michael Archangel on there. And basically you light those three, and then in the tub you go ahead and put some of the sea salt in there, and then you submerge yourself in there. And basically you want to scrub your body completely from head to toe in that mixture of sea salt water. And what it does, it entirely cleanses and scrubs the aura clean. Now, those of you that live near the beach and maybe it's summertime and you know feel like this has happened to you, you can just go and take a deep dip in the beach. Swim in the sea salt, because the beach and ocean water is typically saturated in salt. So there's high levels of salt in the water there, so you can go and do that. But if you don't have that, and you live in a place that doesn't have a tub, you can do two things. You can get a spray bottle, put some water in there and some sea salt or Himalayan salt, and you can just mix that together and then just spray yourself from head to toe. Or if you have like a foot bucket where you can dip your feet, you can get some sea salt, put it in there, or Himalayan salt with some water, and then dip your feet in there. It will work either way. This is going to kind of protect yourself. Get some sea salt next, and or table salt, and go all around your property and sprinkle all the outside of your property with that. If you have a sage stick or Palo Santo, you can also turn that on and go throughout the outside, throughout all of your property lining on the outside. But if you live in an apartment and it's not your property, of course you wouldn't do that. You would need to sage or use Palo Santo in every room. What this is doing is it's creating a barrier against the magic that's been sent, so that no new dark spirits or energy can come in, and it kind of creates that barrier all around your property. But if you do own property, or you have a yard, you want to use that salt and you want to use that sage or Palo Santo. As you do the Palo Santo or the sage, it's going to be like lighting a cigarette. It's going to emit smoke. And as you're doing that in your mind, you can say something like, or say it out loud. I preferably say it out loud when I do it. Some people can use a feather and an abalone shell when you're using Palo Santo or sage, but it's all up to you. Either way it works. And you can just say something: I banish all negativity from this space and only allow love and light to remain. And what it's doing, it's creating that barrier and protecting you. If you believe that you've been cursed or hexed, you also need to carry some selenite and some black tourmaline. Selenite deals with the higher realms, with angels, connecting to the ascended masters, higher frequencies that walk in God's white light. Black tourmaline is a stone to transmute negative energy that has been sent to you, witchcraft done, any energy vampires that are around you. It basically protects you, and it transmutes that energy and sends it back out into the environment as something positive, from a negative to a positive. And I also suggest that you would put some of the black tourmaline and the selenite, buy extra little pieces. You can get them as tumbled stones usually, and you can put some on all the four corners of your home, of the inside of your home, or in every four corners of every room, depending on how you feel. And that will also continue to create a barrier. Now these things, like I said, are more like temporary band-aids. They're not like permanent solutions, but they will be efficient, and they will do that. Like I said, depending on what has been done against you, you do need to do this frequently. Like the saging and the cleansing, you may need to do it quite a bit, like once or twice a week, at least once a week for a couple of months. It depends on the circumstance and how strong and how long that magic has been going on, because some people may be hexed or cursed and they wouldn't even know. It's been done years ago, and they are just miserable, depressed. They don't know why things are going so bad in their life. I always recommend to all of my clients that I have seen something dark or magic being worked against them to utilize a Saint Benedictine Medallion. I always carry it on me as a crucifix. That has a Saint Benedictine on it. But basically the Saint Benedictine Medallion is to protect against witchcraft, demonic energy, and anything that is dark in nature. It kind of like exorcises and removes that from your energy. I also carry a scapular medal, or what people would call the miraculous medal of Mary, with me, and so that's something that is something that I always carry. Those are like my essential tools that I always have on me. Excuse me. But you know, using some, like I said, the salt, the sage, crystals, and these protective metals is only the part of it. You also have to kind of envision yourself in a white bubble of light or in a white gold light. It can be in the shape of a pyramid, yourself inside the pyramid, or you know, just constantly doing that. You know, also meditating will help, and praying to your angels and your archangels for releasing all negativity that has been sent your way. In certain cases that it's very extreme, sometimes you do have to go and see someone who is specialized in this kind of work, like a hoodoo practitioner, a shaman, a witch doctor, someone that is very specializes in these kind of works to remove the work done on you, because not every single person is going to be able to remove these things that, you know, these spells or hexes that have been done on them. But for the most part, many people are able to do that. You can also use the egg cleanse that I refer to it as the egg cleanse, or limpia de huevo, that it's known in through the Hispanic or Latino community. And basically, you get a one egg, you rub it from the top of your head all the way down to your feet, out your body. And as you're doing it, you know, you can say something in the name of God. I remove all negativity. You know, you can say the Lord's Prayer. You can say any kind of prayer, you know, that you want to say. But as you do it, you know, make sure that you are, you know, praying and you're having faith in this. Basically, what it's thought is that the egg absorbs that negative energy. And then you get a glass of water, like a clear glass of water. Fill it with halfways with water, and then crack the egg in the water. And what happens, the egg yolk and the white, you know, part of the egg white and the yolk fall into the water, into the glass. And in most cases it will actually you know, fall to the bottom. If some cases there may be blood on it. If it is, and it's really a confirmation that you've had some really black magic done on you, very dark magic. If it smells like sulfur, has a stench, that again is another sign. If you see like peaks forming in mountains kind of going up around the water, or it's like the shape of the eye, the yolk and the, you know, it forms the shape of an eye, then that's evil eye that's been done to you. If there's peaks, it means that there's like blocks, there are some obstacles in your path. If there's bubbles, that's a good sign, because bubbles is believed that the spirits have trapped that negative energy in that water. And there's a lot of other things, you know, if there's a cloud around it, again, there could be some magic that has been done to you. So the egg cleanse kind of is like a way of knowing that, you know, magic has been done to you in some kind of way. It's also validation, but it also is a purification. Now, after you're done doing the egg cleanse, you will want to dispose of it in the drain, or I prefer throwing that out in the ground, throwing it out completely onto the ground. Don't eat the egg. Do not drink the egg at all. Dispose of it, because again, it has any negative energy that you have attached to it. And believe it or not, a lot of my close friends and clients that I've recommended the egg cleanse to, it has worked, and they do feel lots better, tons better than they would have, you know, before using it. I actually had a close friend that had a spiritual attachment recently, and she didn't know why. She was just crying and didn't know why. And I could see that she had a spirit attached to her. And being that she is someone that's spiritually open, she has mediumship abilities that are latent and are opening up now in her, you know, in her age now, which she's in her 40s, is still young, but it's not like, you know, someone that's naturally a natural born medium. You know, they were born with, and they had those gifts since they were little, and she had those. She has these gifts that have just opened up. Well, she came to me and she was saying she was crying. It wasn't like her. She felt, you know, a certain way during the Christmas party, during Christmas time. And I basically explained that it was a spiritual attachment, and I suggested that she would do that egg cleanse, and it helped her, and it stopped her those moods that she was having, whatnot. Why do spirits attach themselves to us? Well, because if you're a medium, they want help, either to cross over or to get a message across, or they just want to, some of them just want to ride, and just like piggybacking or hitchhiking, they will attach themselves to you. think of like a baby that kind of clings to the leg of a person and they won't let go as that person is walking. That's kind of like what spirit does. And it's not a large person, you know. Spirit is usually can form into tiny and just stay on your shoulder, you know, kind of attached to you. And some of them can jump you. They can get into your body, and that's when we call jumping or body jumping. It's like possession in many ways, but not of something demonic, but from us, a spirit that was alive at one time that is earthbound here on earth. So I don't want to get into all of that because those are different podcasts, different kind of videos that I will be doing. But for the most part, going back to, you know, protecting or uncrossing harmful magic, usually it can be done by you. There's different ways. I also suggest for people to, you know, you can write out like a petition on a sheet of paper, your name, and that you renounce or revoke any pacts, any satanic witchcraft, any santeria, anything that has been done against you, and you declare it null and void. You fold that paper up and then burn it. And as you burn it, it's supposed to, you know, break that energy connection to you. And like I said, there's different things that you can do. You can work with protective crystals. There's not one set way of doing it, but if you've been, you know, like I said, hexed or cursed in many ways, to uncross it, it may require some time and some dedication and isolation away from people. If you're not feeling your best, and people will know, like you will have people, if you've been hexed or crossed by someone, there's been some hoodoo work or magic, like witchcraft done on you, there's going to be people that will tell you, you know, what's wrong with you, you know, you look, you know, a lot of times some of the symptoms that you have is like facial, you know, you have like dark circles and you look just sick, you know, in some kind of way to other people. And so like friends or family members may come to you and say, hey, you know, what's wrong with you? You look, you know, weird, or something's like off, you know, you're not the same. And you'll know, like I said, you will know. But remember that you are protected 100% by your angels. And if there is any magic that is done against you, you will feel it and you will know. And like I said, what I listed off is not just, you know, it's not going to be just one or two things or three things. It's going to be like 5 to 7 things off that list that all are happening, like I said, in a short period of time, and that are consecutive happening. And it's just to create an awareness. So again, this podcast was not intended to be to cause fear or to, you know, to cause that, but to create awareness, to create you being aware of what kind of tools you can use, spiritual tools, to protect yourself. Because again, we are living in a world where people will resort to magic in many ways, to kind of force their will upon someone, whether it's a love spell or it's just a love spell gone wrong, or you broke up with someone that was a witch, or that you broke up with someone and now they've turned to witchcraft or hoodoo to get some kind of revenge against you. But yeah, this is something you definitely need to watch for. I will also, before I end the video, I will say, you know, look at things that may be left in your property. Anything that, if you see like the ground that has been uncovered, you know, or like there's been something buried there, like recently, kind of scope your property, because a lot of times when there is hoodoo work or dark witchcraft done, they can bury things onto your property and leave it there like dolls, like a clay puppet or a puppet, you know. In many ways, poppet, which is like a little, like a voodoo doll, you know. But in many ways, it can be left there, you know, or it could be like an animal that has been left there in your property. Scope out, you know, your home for your door, especially if like for any blood, feces, urine, any kind of, you know, whatever you would see there. Just be aware of your surroundings. Have an awareness and kind of keep track. If you know that you're with someone that practices magic, kind of keep them away from your personal belongings, especially if they, you know, they practice magic and they take it to a dark place. Keep away from them getting any kind of in contact with your hairbrush, your hair, you know, or any personal object that they have of you. that you've given to them, or they could take from you. You know, kind of not be fearful, but be aware. If there's anything missing, then that should raise some red flags. And if it is, then go through with the steps that I said, you know. And if that doesn't work or things don't get better, then you may need to consult a professional that handles magic and whatnot. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you have any other kind of videos that you'd like for me to do, please list them in the comment section below. I also started, you know, where if you want to donate to my channel, you can do so. The PayPal link to my my PayPal account is listed in the description box below, and you can donate if you want to support the channels, because there's a lot of new content and things that I'm working on, you know, if you want to. And it's very much appreciated, any help that you give. But yeah, you know, if you want to book a private reading, my website's there. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And blessings and love and light. Have a happy new year.